So today what we're going to do is we're going to look at some very interesting examples, and we're going to see how Power BI can help us load very different type of data sets or even problems in the data set. Okay, so I have several examples to show. Okay, so we will do some 7-8 different examples. Let's see. Okay, so let's get started. And there will also be opportunities today to win a lot of class participation marks. Okay, so stay focused. Okay, are you guys ready? Should we get started? Okay, when you get data from these sources that I shared with you earlier, okay, all these different data sources like I was talking about yesterday, Statistics Canada, or a lot of this open data websites, okay, you a lot of times find the data in the form of a report. So a lot of times they are actually Excel reports, and this is also very common in organizations because a lot of work has happened in Excel where people have actually done some problem solving and kept the output in the form of some report in an Excel sheet, which you would want to leverage. Okay, it happens so often. Okay, now let's say you have a data like this. Now this is a classic pivot table output actually. Okay, if you take a look at it, you will realize that this is actually a pivot table output. Okay, what you see here is there are different cities, and then within every city there are order ID, priority of the order, ship mode, and the sales. And what you see here is you see Alabama, and this is the total sales of all the orders that came within Alabama. So if I sum this up, it gives me 773, which is this. So these lines are actually group subtotals. That's what these lines are. These are group subtotals. Okay, now I want all of you to take a few minutes to try and load this data on Power BI and solve this problem, which means get this data in the right format, because this is not the format that you can use this data. You cannot do any analysis in this format. The format that you would want to have rather is like this. You'd rather want to convert this into this sort of a format. You'd want the city to be here, and then maybe a separate column for the state. So here you want to have a separate column called state. Okay, and likewise you want to do it for, let's say, the next state, and this is Arizona. Now I'm doing it in a manual way in Excel. Of course I cannot do it like this even in Excel, because if there are so many different states, then I'll spend the entire day doing this. Now you would want to load this data in Excel, in Power BI, the data on the left side, and then convert this to the data on the right side with the help of data transform. Okay, so get started on this. 3 marks class participation for whoever gets this first, and 2 marks for anybody who completes this.
Jay, can you just, can we remove the nulls? Is that what you're looking for?
No, I'm not removing just the nulls. Look at this. This data has got group subtotals. I don't need the group subtotals. I am actually just looking at the data in the right way. This Alabama is not even a city. It's actually a state. And this number has got no meaning because this number is just the sum of all of these. So I want the data to be like this. Now, if the data is like this, then I can do everything. I can do state-wise sales, or I can find everything. I can do city-wise analysis. I can do every type of analysis. So this is an analytical data set, not this. So I want to convert this into this format where I have the city and then the corresponding state by its side, like this. You see my point? Has everybody understood the problem at hand?
Yep.
How about others?
Yes, yes.
Okay, so take about 10 minutes okay, to try and think on this problem, okay? Even if you're not able to solve it, that's fine. Just work on data transformation, nothing else. I want you guys to think of the steps that you will need to solve a problem. Okay, that is the most important part. Analytics means analysis. It's from the word analysis, which means breaking a problem into small steps and solving them. You have to think about the steps that will help you transform this data from this table to this table. So you have time till about 9:23. I'm also going to spend some time thinking on this problem. So I will also open my Power BI.
So this is my right here.
Yeah.
State Alabama, all the way down.
Absolutely right. Yeah. So you got it. Okay. Now I will start to share my screen and I will show everybody how to get this done. So let's see. Okay. Is there anybody who could not load the data itself? I'm starting from the place where you have already loaded the data. Is there anybody who struggled in loading the data? I don't think so, right? Because I've been
data was fine.
Yeah. So now that you have loaded the data, you see the data like this. Now, what you need to do is think about the steps of how you can solve this issue. Okay. So what is the issue? The issue pretty much is to remove these nulls. We want to get rid of these nulls. These lines, if these lines are gone, then this will be fine. Okay, that's one part of the job. The other part of the job is that we get to pick up the city, which is actually a state, before we remove the nulls. So think about the steps involved. Okay, so the first thing is, so which is the first thing to do? See, if I remove this, it's very easy to remove. I can just say, don't give me nulls. And this is gone. But if this is gone, then I have no ways to put it here in a different column. So I'm going to not do this step first. The first step that I'm going to do is somehow get this thing outside. So if I can get this outside, then my job is done. Okay, now it's a simple thing that what do I want to do? I want to put this in a new column, which means it will involve you to create a column. Now you have to just think of creating a column in such a way that it can give me this names, the name of the city whenever this is null. We only want the name of the city whenever this is null. Because every time order ID is null, the city name is actually state name. So with this logic in place, we will want to add a new column. So we will obviously go to add column. Now, this is a conditional column because what are we saying? We are saying if this is null, then pick this up. So whenever you think of constructs like this, that if this is true, then do this. Okay, so whenever that construct happens, you know it is a conditional column. So I'm going to call this column state. And if my order ID is null, then in the output, I want to select a column, not enter a value, but select a column. And which is the column I want to select? I want to select city, only when this is null. Else, I'm not worried about it. Else, leave it null. Okay, so I'm going to say okay. So now I got the state over here. Okay, now if I again remove this null, then again there is a problem because now the state completely becomes null. So again, there was no use of getting this state names here in the first place. So again, I have to stop before I can remove this nulls. So I'll get this nulls back. Now, if you think, you just need to find a way to get this state filled everywhere there is null. So Alabama comes all the way here till here. Then Arizona comes all the way till here. Arkansas comes all the way till here, which is very similar to the in the transform operation called fill. So all we need to do now is just use fill to fill down. Now, if you remember, this was the use case of fill down. We discussed fill down earlier, where we could see that how it allows us to populate the null values based on the value on top of it. So this null will take the value on top of it. Every null takes the value on top of it. Okay. So when I say fill down, it gets me all the states properly populated. And now I can do this step where I remove the nulls, which I from the order ID. The moment I do that, my data set is ready. Okay, now I want all of you to try this on your own.
Do the last step again.
In the last step, I just clicked here and I wanted to remove the nulls.
No, the one that you drag the state.
Yeah, to drag the state, you have to use fill down. Okay, so over here, you have all the nulls. All you need to do is select this column and say fill down. So fill is the operation which you need to realize, which you need to remember. Okay, today we are going to see the examples of lot of other proper features which we have not seen earlier in data transform. Hopefully today, by the end of our session today, we will see all the features of data transform. There should not be anything which is left after today in data transform, so that whatever data set you get in your project, you are able to make sense out of it. You are able to transform it in an analytical data set. Is this clear to everyone? Is there anybody who cannot do this on their own? Okay, I'll take that as a yes. So I'm going to now save this file.
The teacher, wait.
Okay, take your time.
In conditional column, what did you write at the end? I wrote city.
Yeah, you
didn't work.
From the drop down first, from the drop down select cell, reference cell. There is a drop down which says ABC. Right now it is looking for a value. You don't want to put a value, you want to put a reference cell. So you have to click on the drop down and choose reference cell. So let's look at the screen now. Here, over here, you see, do not enter the value, but select a column. You have to change this drop down, and then it will show you a drop down here as well, and you have to choose city. If you just type city, then it will put city as a word. You don't want that. Okay, before I forget, I will add Joseph's marks in the leaderboard.
Teacher, now we can delete the order ID with null.
Yeah, you don't say delete, you just say filter.
No, at the end. Yes, filter the null.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you.
one more thing you might want to do is the state has got ABC and 1, 2, 3, which means the data type is any. You don't want any, you just put it as text. Okay, don't put any as a data type, anywhere else. Whenever you see any, just change it to the right data type. You will always know what is the right data type. You just change it to that. Okay, look at this. Look at my screen right now. There is this data set here, which has got different dates and different interest rates. Now, these dates are for a particular quarter. You can see the name of the file is Q1 data. Okay, now I have 3 quarters of data, which means I have 3 different Excel files. Okay, I want you guys to find a way to load the data in one table. Okay, so one under the other. Okay, so you basically will want to have all the quarters data one under the other. Right now you have this 1 quarter, and then this ends here after 90 days, and then in a different file. So I will give you 3 files like this. You have to find a way to join all the tables one under the other. Okay, you will get class participation marks, 2 marks for whoever is able to finish this. Okay, whoever finishes this gets 2 marks for class participation. Okay, so I'm going to now upload this.
Teacher, so just put them side by side?
No, you have to put under them, because if you put them side by side, again, it will not have any meaning. You want the analytical data sets to be long format. I've been telling this again and again. Okay, so if you put different quarters like this, then it is of no use. It is not, you cannot analyze them. Okay, you don't want that. So you want this to be put under one under the other. Okay, so do it like that. Fine. So I'm going to now share this the documents. Okay, are you guys able to see my browser right now?
Yes.
Okay, so if I type here click info, okay, so you can see that this is a gaming website now, sports website rather, where you have different match results. Okay, so there are results of different match, and there are basically scorecards and everything. Okay, so if I click on this, okay, I should be able to see all the details. There's detailed scorecards and all of this. Now you can click on scorecard, and you can see the entire scorecard. Now, of course, you guys will not be able to comprehend because this is a different game, but you can imagine the same for, let's say, football, which is the more popular sport, or maybe basketball or something like that. Okay, now a lot of times you will need to get this data from such websites. So last time around, and I'm going to show you sometime later, people made a Power BI analysis on football leagues, and they got the data from some site. Okay, now a lot of times you will need to get the data from a website by scraping, also known as web scraping. So we will now see an example of web scraping. Now we have already seen examples of web scraping when we've seen that Power BI can get data from a Wikipedia page or a lot of other pages. But what we are interested in doing is, we are interested in getting a lot of data from these sites in an automated way. Now, why would you need a lot of data? Let's say you're analyzing cricket. You want to analyze all the different matches of Cricket World Cup. Now, there are a lot of different matches. Like there are 60 different matches that gets played in a Cricket World Cup. So, so you don't want to go to every page every time. and try to, scrape that. You want an automated process that you press a button and it does everything on its own. It goes to every page, relevant page, and it gets all the details on its own. And that ways you have a data set which you can then analyze and present interesting stories and insights from it. Okay, so everybody understands the context, what we're trying to do. So let's say tomorrow you want to analyze a cricket or a news site or something like that, or corona, okay, and you know that the data is not present in a structured file and you need to scrape, but you need to scrape multiple times. But there is some logic to it. Okay, so typically, for example, over here, if you see, the logic lies in these numbers. Now, this is the match number. If I change this match number, I will keep getting different details. Okay, so something like that, which tells you that that how you need to navigate. So you need to create a method in Power BI which allows you to change this number and keep getting new data sets. Okay, so we are going to try and see one such way. Okay, now this is going to be a little complex and involve a little bit of coding. But this will also expose you to Power BI's amazing feature called Advanced Editor, which I have not shown you yet. But when you get a hang of Advanced Editor, you will feel that it is so powerful. You can change so many things. You can edit the steps and you can do so many things. Okay, and you will get to see the flexibility. See, a lot of times, what happens is tools like, let's say, Tableau or ClickSense or Power BI. These tools are button-based. So you press a button and it will do its trick. Okay, but tools like R or Python or SAS are programmatic tools. Now, programming tools are always more flexible. Why am I saying that? Because you can do anything. With the help of R, you can build anything. Or with the help of Python, you can build anything. You can write any scraping query and you can do any type of scraping, you can do anything. But in Power BI, you are limited to the features that the tool offers you. Okay, so Power Query Advanced Editor gives you the best of both the worlds. You can use the features by pressing buttons, or you can even code on your own to do things. And that makes it so powerful. Because in the other tools like Tableau and all, this feature is not there. In ClickSense, of course, you have this feature. Not in ClickSense, actually in ClickView. ClickSense is more like Tableau, and you will not get those features. But in ClickView, you will get those features. Same as Power BI. Okay, so now let's see how you can script things or program things in Power BI and do very powerful things. Okay, so let's see. Now, in order to show you this, I'm going to use a different website. I'm going to use a website called Plane Crash Info, typically because this website has got the data very neatly presented, and it is easy to scrape this website in a continuous fashion. Okay, so let's see. When you look at this plane crash info, it basically presents the details of all the plane crashes that has happened till date. Okay, it's got pictures and it's got a lot of information. Okay, now there is a database. Okay, so when you click on this first link, database, when I click here, it shows me the accident database of all the different years. Now you can see from 1920 to 2020, so there are 100 years worth of aviation accidents. Okay, it also involves military airships. Okay, now if I click on any year, okay, tell me the name of any year of your choice, maybe your birth year.
76.
So let's click on 1976. And now you can see the details of all the accidents that has happened in 1976. Now, what I want to do is, I want to get this data in Power BI because I want to analyze aircraft accidents. I want to build a dashboard on this. Okay, let's say that's my project. Now, let's try and understand what is the data here. So there is date, and then there is location and operator. Operator means name of the airline, and location is where it happened. Okay, now ideally, they should have kept them in separate columns, but they have not done that. But they have told us how to read this because they have told us that the operators are always in the next line and the location is always in the first line, the operator is always in the next line. So maybe we will be able to leverage this information and do something about this when we load the data inside. Similarly, there is an aircraft type, whether it is Boeing or Lear or something else. Okay, so there is the aircraft type and the registration number of the aircraft. Again, this could have been in two different columns, but they have combined it and put it in one column, and they have kept it in different, they have separated them through lines, separate lines. Then there is a number of deaths that happened. Now, the way to read this, and because I've seen this data set before, so I know how to read this, the way to read this is, you see, this is like number of people died out of total available. So this was a very bad accident. You see, there were 82 people on board and all 82 perished. Okay, so the way to read this is, for example, 34 by 42. It means out of 42 people, 34 people perished. Okay, and 42 is the total people on board, 34 is the number of people who died, and the 0 is basically the ground accidents. Okay, people who perished on the ground. So because of this crash, somebody died on the ground in this accident. So this is ground accidents, ground deaths. Over here, this was such really a bad accident. You can see everybody perished plus 7 more on the ground. So this could have been in 3 separate columns. Again, they have put them all in one single column. But again, we have a way to figure that out. We can separate this basis this backslash, and then we can separate this basis this, this bracket. Okay. Now, these things we can do, but the biggest challenge that we have here is, I want data of 100 years. And I don't have the patience to click on each one of these, copy the link, paste it in Power BI, and keep on doing it, and then append the queries. That's not how I want to do it. I want to do it in a smarter way. And let's see how we can do that. Let's look at the name of the page. See, all these things, when you see a web page, the web page are created from databases. This data is coming from database. So even for the website to show the data, it is following some structure. And if you understand the structure, then you can reverse engineer to get the data back in your database. So they are showing this data from some database that they already have. So they have some logic, which is allowing them to get the data for different years and put them on different pages. We are going to reverse engineer the logic and get the data from different pages to a single database. Okay, now how do we do that? By looking at the data. So let's go back to 1976 for one more time. And let's look at the name. Let's look at this URL. It's 1976 and then 1976.htm. Let's change this. Instead of 1976, let's make it 77. Let's see what happens. Let's see if something happens. Let's change this. And like magic, this works. This is the data of 1977. Okay, look at this massive accident that has happened. Huge Boeing aircraft, 747, got crashed in 1977. Probably one of the worst accidents. So when you get this data, you will be able to do all this analysis. You can tell me what is the worst accident ever. Has the accidents been increasing, decreasing? What is happening? Okay, now it's a beautiful data set. The only challenge is how to get this in one press of a button. So let's see. First of all, what we're going to do is we are going to create a structure which allows us to change the year and get the data in Power BI. That's step one. So once again, create a structure that allows us to put the year. So it should ask for the year. And if I put the year manually, then it should give me the data for that year. Simple. So imagine it's just a simple window and it should ask, give me the year. If I put the year, it should just give me the data for that year from planecrashinfo.com. Now that's the step one. Step two is then automatically keep passing different years to that function or to that window. Automatically keep putting the years, don't do this manually, and then it keeps giving you the data and it just combines everything in one place. Is there anybody who has not understood what we need to do? The steps should be clear in your mind. In English, you should know that, okay, you might not know the language of Power BI, but in English, it must be clear in your head that these are the steps that we need to follow. Now, so first thing that we want to do is we want to create a structure which allows us to input a year number. Because if you ask me what is it changing, that it first you have to find out what is it that it is changing. It is changing this year number. Okay, every time it changes the year number. So if I have to make a structure that I can change the year number and it still gets me the data. Okay, so let's see how we can do that. So in order to do that, we will pick up any year, any year, a link for any year, any 1 year to start to set the context. Okay, to build a foundation. We are going to pick up any one URL. Okay, so I've copied it. Now I'm going to stop share and go back to Power BI. And I'm going to share this even with everybody else, the same link. You guys can also use the same link. So I'm using this link. Now, what we will do is I'm going to open a Power BI instance. Okay. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get the data from web. Okay, we have already seen this. We have done this from Wikipedia pages. Okay, so I've clicked on from web and I'm going to paste the URL. All of you can do the same. You can click from web and paste the URL and press OK. Okay, I can see table 1. Let's look at the preview. Okay, now tell me something. How many of you are able to see the preview like this?
I can see it like that.
Okay. Are you seeing the preview exactly like this or in a different way?
Yes, exactly that way.
Exactly like yours.
Everybody, how about you, Madhi, because you're using a different version? Do you also see it like this? Madhi, you're there? Okay. Um, okay, is there anybody who doesn't see it like that? Because there's a problem in the way it is showing the data right now. I'll tell you what is the problem. When I go to web view, okay, you can see that these things are supposed to be in different lines, right? The location and operator should be in different lines. The aircraft and registration should be in different lines. But when I'm looking at the table view, it is not showing me in different lines. That's because, okay, that's because what is happening here is, it's basically not showing me, not picking up the data so there are two ways that it can read the HTML file, okay? So it is reading it in a different, it's reading it in other way, and it is not, usually it shows both the ways. Usually it shows both options. So a lot of times you would have seen when you, for example, load the data from Excel workbook, it will show you the workbook, data from the workbook, and the data as a table. Similarly, when you do it from the web page, it will show you data from the web page and then something that it converts as a table. Now here, it's not showing us the data like a web page, which is straight away from the web page. It is showing me data after it has converted it into a table, and which is why it's causing this problem, because it is using its own judgment to do that. Okay, so we will have to change that, but I will show you how to do that. It might take us a couple of extra steps now. Okay, let's see. So what we're going to do is, we're going to click on this. We're going to click on this and we're going to say load. So everybody tick on this and say load. Okay, so once this has been loaded, we'll go to transform data. Okay, now it has got this data, okay? But you see, okay, let me just show you. Okay, are you able to see my details on my screen right now, the table?
Yeah.
Yes.
Now, there is a problem because you will not be able to separate these two columns into two columns because it's not loading this properly. Now, let's see how we can get this right. Now, this will require us to first, now everything is delayed by one step, okay? So now we have to create an intermediate step which gets us to load the data properly. So first, we have to tell Power BI how to scrape the data properly, okay? So we have to add that step now, okay? Then we will think of ways to create a way that I can give the year and it gives me the data. Okay, so let's see how to get the data, read the data correctly. So what I'll do is, now in order to do this, you have to click on advanced editor. Okay, you see here under properties in this query box, advanced editor. Now, this advanced editor is giving you all the details of all the steps it has done till now. So every step that you see here, the applied steps are all here in advanced editor in the form of this hash. Every step is a new hash. You see, in a different line, starting with hash is basically the step that you saw here. So this gives you a flexibility to change any step or add anything here, and it will do it straight. Now, over here, to get the content, it is using a function called web browser content. Now we have to tell Power BI to use a different function, because this function, web browser content, is not able to get the data properly. Okay, so we will try to get it with a different function. Okay, so I'm just trying to figure this out, what function might be of help. Okay, instead of web browser content, we will use web page, a function called web page. Okay, and then another function on this called, I'm just trying to, yeah, web contents. Okay, so we will use web page and web contents. Now what this will do is, this will not take the HTML table like this. This will take the data as it is. So right now you see it is doing the parsing. It's doing the parsing over here. And that's why it is getting it like that. So we don't want it to parse like this. Okay, so we will change that. And what we will do is, we will create a new data source. We will call it data 0. So we will use the source. Basically, this has got the details of all. You can see the source. This has got all the web page contents, and we are going to pick up the first element of the source. So when you see this brackets, it means the first element of the source, and from that we will get the data completely without parsing it in the way that it was parsing right now. And then we are going to point to this thing, data 0, everywhere. So we don't need this line now. Now you can see that right now it is saying extracted table from HTML, and then it is using everything on this table. Understand the code, okay? So extracted table from HTML, it is basically using over here and then doing everything else. So everything is like a chain. So then it creates promoted headers, then it is working on the promoted headers to do something else. So it's like a chain. So what we are doing is we are breaking the chain, and we are saying, first go to the source. From the source, pick up the first element and get the data from there directly without parsing like a HTML table. And then point to this data 0 for everything else. So we will say, point to this data 0 over here. you know. And then we don't need this line. Okay, now let's try and run this and let's see if it does the trick. Okay, I'm going to copy this code. In case this works, I'm going to share it with everyone so that you guys don't have to type it out like I did. And now you can see that it is doing it properly. This is how we want it to do. You see this? We want it to be like this so that we can later on separate the two. This way we can separate it into two things. Now, to do this, how will you guys do it? Click on Advanced Editor and remove everything and paste what I'm going to share with you on the chat. So I'm going to go to the chat and put this code. All you need to do is copy this and paste it. Okay, just copy this and paste it in your advanced editor, remove everything else. So your advanced editor should look like this, and then say done. Everybody try and do this. Let me know once this is done.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah, done.
Okay. Okay. Now what we're going to do is, you see this 1977. This is the main thing, right? So we need to use, instead of 1977, think of it like using a variable, a parameter. And this parameter we are going to pass later on. Okay, so instead of using 1977 as a fixed thing, we will use a parameter. Okay, and we will define the parameter first. So at top of let, I'm going to make some space and I'm going to put an enter and I'm going to say make a parameter called year. So every parameter that you will be making is done in simple bracket. And when you do it like this, it makes a parameter. Okay, so year followed by an equal to and then this bracket, then this sign, okay, greater than sign, so that is year. Okay, so this makes a parameter. And now I'm going to use this parameter over here. So think of this as a text. Now remember text concatenation in Excel. You're going to do the same thing. So now imagine that this is one text and then you concatenate in Excel using and, the same thing, because it's all Microsoft. It all happens in the same way. Okay, this is my number. Okay, then this is also a text. Then I can put another ampersand and I can pick this one as the next text. And then I can put another ampersand and I can say concatenate this with this 1977. And finally, another last ampersand will the HTML. What did I do? Ampersand. Okay. Percent. And I don't need this. Yeah. Fine. So like this, now you can see that this is one string. This is added to this string. So what I've done is I've taken out the 1977 as two separate strings. This allows me to replace this with year. So now, instead of this, I can put my year. This is my variable. So I copy this And instead of 1977, I can put year. And over here also I can put year. Now, here there is a trick. This year is actually a number, but you want to take it as text so that it can do the text operation. It can concatenate the texts. So you need to convert this into text. Now that can be done by using a function on top of this, which is called number to text. So I'm going to say number to text over here. And in the same way, I'm going to add number to text even for this year. I'm just putting some space so that it is easy to you for you to understand. And I can use number to text even here. So now what is happening? It will ask for a year. This is what it means, that ask for a year. And then it will put that value over here, whatever you enter. It will then convert it into text. Same like here as well. And then it will concatenate everything to make the same URL that you had before. Okay, and this should do the trick. Now, I'm going to share this code in a while, but first, let me see if this is working fine. Okay, so I'm going to say done. So when I do done, it shows me that there is no data boss. Because why? The editor is saying, I'm waiting for the year. Till the time you can give me the year, I cannot do any step because that's the first thing. It is waiting for the year. So let's try and put the year here, 1977 once again, or 1976. Let's see what happens. I say invoke. And it does it. I can see all the details from 1976. It's over here. Now let's run this again. Let's click on this function and let's write 1977 or maybe to 2020, our current year. Let's see what happens. And it gives me the data of 2020. Okay. So now I of course don't need this, so I will just select this and delete them. And I'm just going to change this, rename this to say this is, let's say, get data. This is the name of my function. Now, I'm going to share this code with everybody. So I'm going to select everything in my advanced editor and paste it on the chat window so that all of you can paste the same. So all of you now replace everything that is there in our advanced editor and paste this and check if you put a year in the function, does it work? Let me know if it works for everyone.
Jay,
Yes.
how do you get these tricks?
How do you what?
How do you get these tricks, these hints to do all these changes to?
Oh no, because I also learned these things, right?
I
It's
know,
all-
but where? And in a blog, in a forum, in
Yeah,
where?
so it all, see, I'll tell you. See, it all starts with a problem. So, for example, last time around, there was a group who wanted to analyze football data. So they came to me with this problem that, okay, how can you help me analyze this? So I broke my head to figure this out. And now it is part of the learning. So this is how the learning improves. So whatever I have learned in the previous batch, I try to bring in here. Now you guys will teach me so many more things. I will now bring that into the next batch. Okay, so when you come with a problem, a lot of these things all start with a problem that somebody else has started, because I don't have the time, I don't work so much on Power BI. So, enthusiasts like yourselves, they start interesting problems to work on. In fact, you know who did this analysis? The same guy, Lino, who shared with me the text, whose text I shared with you guys. Their team, they worked in a group, and it's a very interesting group. In that group, there is actually a world champion athlete. He's from Jordan. He had the 8th rank in world champion in running in 400 meters. He's my student. I'm very proud of him. So so they are a team, and there were other members also, of course. So they decided, because they like football, so they just decided to analyze football leagues, and they were not getting the data, so they wanted to scrape, and then they wanted to do it for multiple games, in a structured way. So then I explored the internet, and I also, it's not like, everything came to me directly. I also looked at the internet. I saw these examples, and I brought it to the table. From that learning, then, we could solve that problem. Okay. So everybody learns from somewhere, it's not like, I know everything from beginning. I also learned it.
No, I totally understand that. But when you are trying to figure out a problem, where do you go? On forum, in a blog, on YouTube, you should have a kind of phone.
I primarily Google. I think I have got good Google skills. Okay. And that happens over a period of time. I know how to find the answer. Okay. I have also learned it. And I used to see my mentor doing it way more effectively. I've seen that it's a skill, to be able to Google in a more effective way, to be able to find out the right answer. It's a skill. Okay. And I used to be amazed in the same way from my mentor, and I have learned so much from him. And he used to be fantastic in ability to find out answers in the right way, in a more efficient way. And it only comes with experience, as you keep doing things, it will come to you also. Okay, that's the nature of things, with experience, it will come to you. The more you try, the more you will be better at it. That's the only thing. I also do Google, that's all. I only do Google. That's it. Okay, now, I'm sure everybody got this. Is there anybody who is not seeing this? Okay, so you can put any year and you can see this. Now, one part of the job is done. Not everything is done yet, because I don't want to do this 100 times. Of course, I now have automated to some extent, but I don't want to do it like 1976, 1977, 1978, and keep getting different queries and then append them. So I can do it. So I can do like now 1976. I get this. I can change this. I can rename this, and I can say this is 1976, so that I know this is 1976. Then I can go here, and I can do 1977, and I can invoke this function. And then I can say this is 1977. And like this, I do 100 times, and then I do my append queries. I can come here, and I can actually append the queries. And I will get a single data set. But I don't want to do that. Okay, I want to do it in a smarter way. So I delete this. Now, what I first of all need is, I need list of all the years. Okay, now the list of all the years is also present there. So if you remember on that site, let me go back to that site. And let me share my screen over here. So let's go back, back one step and back one more step. And here is the database. And this database has got the names of the numbers of all the years that is present. So I want to leverage this. So let's scrape this out. Let's get this data quickly. And this is easy. Okay, this is no rocket science. I'm going to copy this URL. Okay, and I'm going to go back to my editor. So I'm going to start to share that. Oh, I don't need to do the editor. Sorry, I have to get the data now. So everybody, close and apply your editor. Everyone, close and apply your editor. And get back to the report layer. Close and apply all the changes. Now I'm going to start to share again. And this time, I'm going to use get data and click on web once again for hopefully the last time. And I'm going to paste this link, database.htm. Okay, I'm going to share this now on the chat.